Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your hosts, Justin and BJ. We talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we want to talk about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you laugh, maybe you cry, you hate on our takes, you liked your takes, I don't care. But just don't let us know unless it's been 3 days.
Who cares? He wants to read about it in the comments section.
I do, and if you're going to comment, you can email us to the email box, number 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. It looks like our email box was filled up over our time away, but Justin, welcome back. It's been a week. We've been off, and how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How was we took a Father's Day. We just call it the Father's Day break. It's like we earned it or something. I don't know. I mean, we needed a midday break.
If you can earn something for not doing anything, I guess so. But
I mean that's
from the podcast standpoint.
From the podcast, yeah.
Being a father, but yeah.
Well, I mean, there are some people, I guess. No, but no, it was good. It was good to have it off. Like, I started my new job on the Monday after Father's Day, and so it was nice, selfishly, to have kind of a week off to kind of start new things and kind of deal with not some fun moments with my old employer, or not my old employer, specifically just two people who made my life, who just are ugly, toxic work. But the people I work with, I felt bad that I left kind of soon, but it needed to happen for the best for me and things. So I moved on, and I'm working for a rehabilitation hospital. I'm working for what is Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital. So it's actually a facility that my wife was a patient at for 86 days in 2023. So familiar with everything. A lot of familiar faces over there. So it's good to kind of, my first day I kind of walked in. One of my old managers is a director now, and I'll be working under her. And so it just kind of felt like home already.
Good.
One fun fact, I am the only guy in the office.
Yeah.
It's like their first guy in like 12 years. So
yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
I don't think where I'm at a new place as well. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I don't think there's ever been a guy that's worked at this office. I think I'm the first one. So it's been interesting, but yeah, you'll get to know what that whole deal is like.
It's not my first rodeo working in the areas and the arenas that we have over the years. So
yeah,
I mean, there wasn't even, how many guys were at Nelnet when we were there together?
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe a handful. Yeah.
So it's all good. So yeah, so it was nice to have that, and kind of my kids went on vacation from us, so that was kind of fun.
There you go.
They got to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and so Becky and I had a lot of date nights and 2 going away parties that worked out for me selfishly. So
there you go.
So anyways, what about you, man? How was your time away? Anything exciting?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been busy. With other things, I think we've talked about this, not doing the podcast. People that don't know, I mean, we still drop it during the week, but not doing the live or the recording during the week has helped like alleviate my stress during the week. So we get that day off and get to do whatever. So no, we've had some basketball stuff for Elliot. Getting ready to send my girl off to college, so that's been interesting as well. And running Special Olympics track, and so it's been busy. It's been good. Father's Day Sunday was great. Had all my kids with me either Sunday or Saturday night before. Got to go over with Ian and Kenna, and that was awesome. And so just a shout out to my oldest boy. He's not a boy; he's a man. Ian. He's married now. I've talked about him a little bit, and his wife, and he had us over for dinner the Saturday before Father's Day, and he has a smoker and a Blackstone, and so he's been experimenting. Those that don't know, Ian likes to cook. He loves to cook. He's really good at it. He loves to host people, so he had us over there. He cooked some smoked some pork chops and smoked ribs, and I kid you not, I could have just gorged out on that stuff. It was so good. So it was a good weekend for sure. So
that's awesome.
But
awesome.
yeah, and then my youngest son Elliot just got back from. He went to his team. He's playing varsity ball this year for his high school, and they went to the Oregon team camp at Eugene this weekend, and so he got to go play on Matthew Knight Arena this morning, and was telling me all about that. So that was
How about
pretty
you
cool.
can't see the baselines because there's so many trees?
Yeah. He said it was really, really incredible. So that was cool. We didn't get to go watch him, but he had a good time, and so that was all there as well. So, yep, back at it. Normal things going on. So, yep,
Life is going.
It is.
We're off and running.
Yep. We've had some really cool opportunities to talk. Last time we were on, we had Ray and Brad on with us, and good time with them. We had a lot of feedback on Facebook between their family and some family members.
I think Brooke's gonna find you. Is gonna find Brad, and
yeah.
She might take him out back.
Before she takes him out, we need to have her on the show so that she can set the record straight. I loved what Brad's wife posted, so shout out to her. Name's Carly, right?
Carly, yes.
She just hashtagged or South Street Secrets, and
yep.
I love that. That was really cool. So I've had the opportunity to. This will be a good segue to where we're going. I've had the opportunity to live in houses with people that I've crossed paths with later on in life for various reasons. So being in the ministry, you live in a parsonage or a church-owned home, for those of you that don't know what a parsonage is. And sometimes when you change pastors or families, people live in that same house. Well, I've lived in the same house, as Brad mentioned, as Brad and Carly. And then we went to Pittsfield and lived in a home there. Well, then we moved to Missouri and lived in a home that the pastor that followed me in Pittsfield lived in our home in Pittsfield, and I lived in his home in Missouri. And so we kind of swapped homes at different times. And so that was kind of interesting. But I bring up Pittsfield because one of the cool things about this podcast is we bring on our friends, we bring on people we know, people we don't know, but we talk about really cool things. And so it is our pleasure to have one of my very good friends on with us tonight. Christopher Schatz is joining us. Thanks, Chris, for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to be on the show that I've been listening to.
Yeah, okay, well, that's the first question, right, BJ?
Yeah.
Do we need to set the record straight on anything? And how many episodes have you actually listened to?
I got to admit, I'm 3 behind.
Oh, okay.
I'm 3 behind. This last month has been ridiculous for me, and I know that seems like a poor me kind of story, but
no,
it's we're going through construction in our office, and it's just been a kind of a nightmare to try to work around. But we moved in at the end of this past week, so I can actually work in my little cubicle now. But yeah, so I'm 3 behind. I was caught up for a long time, especially through tax season, because you guys kept me entertained in the hours between 4 and 8 a.m. So,
oh geez,
I mean, you didn't go that long, obviously, but you were one of the many podcasts that I listened to in that time.
He put us on that -2 speed, so he's like,
we're just crawling. Then he falls asleep. Yeah,
I did put you on 2 times just to see how much of a chipmunk you guys sound like.
I could only imagine what I sounded like.
That's what I listen to all my podcasts on, is 2 times speed. So it's normal for me to be at 2 times speed. Yeah,
that'll keep you awake just trying to hear and understand what's going on.
Yeah. Or it helps you to kind of zone out and just kind of not even pay attention to anything, depending on what you're going for.
Well, Justin, you did say you want to set records straight.
Oh, yeah.
One thing right off the bat. The world's best popcorn is white cheddar.
White cheddar.
Awesome.
So, I was going to just drop this on you, but
thank
you, Chris.
So, he beat you
I had to jump in. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that punch.
That's probably a good reason why we waited to have you on, is because we just let you sweat this out the longer it goes. I mean, the reality, you texted me after you listened to that episode, and you texted me and you said, I'm never going to live this down, am I?
Nope. I love it, though. I love it. That just brings a smile to my face every time we talk about it.
So there's no, being a good friend, you kind of let bygones be bygones, and you move on. You give grace to your friends. You love them unconditionally. You desire God's best for them and all that they do in their family. But if they don't judge your popcorn the best, it's almost like, wow, you got to come back from the dead on that, because it's like, you're dead to me, dude. But no, you have come back, and I appreciate that.
Well, there's been a lot of lessons I've learned in life, but that one is going to stick with me till the day I die.
So we gotta unpack this so that people know what we're talking about.
We gotta
get in trouble when we don't tell the story. But...
Well, that, and there are some people who are not cut up in all the episodes either. So
that's true.
That is true. But that was one of the early ones. You'll have to ask Brenton which episode that was.
Yeah,
Brenton
was early.
Our historian.
Yeah. No, I was a youth pastor in Pittsfield. That's where we first met Chris. So let me give a little intro to Chris. Chris and Anita Schatz have been friends of ours since 2012, and we went to interview in Pittsfield to be their associate pastor of youth and young adults. And when we went to interview, it was actually the weekend of my birthday when we went to interview in May, and the pastor at the time wanted to make sure that we could get along with the other staff that were on board. So he organized a dinner at their house with Chris and Anita and their kids, and Alicia and I and our kids. And so we showed up at their house that night, and Chris was standing kind of in the entryway. And there's another house I've lived in with other people. There it is.
Dude.
Wow. He's showing a picture I didn't even know existed. That's crazy. Will you send me that picture?
I will.
That's awesome. But so we're standing in the entryway of this home, and Chris and I start talking. And I had met Chris at the board meeting. He was on the board, so we had talked a little bit. But that was a crazy time too, because your grandpa was struggling health wise, and so you were in and out and preoccupied, rightfully so. But when we got to Pastor John and Mary Lou's house, we walked in there, and Chris and I really didn't leave the entryway. We just talked the whole time and really hit it off, became instant friends. Our families have become instant friends, and we have been friends ever since. And I'm so thankful for that. We've, just like Justin and I have been through a lot together, Chris and Anita and I have been through a lot together as well. And thankful for those times. But yeah, since 2012, we got together and as friends, and it was great. But Chris, both of you guys are two guys that I have roped into youth ministry in one way or the other. And it's gone bad for me in both ways. Okay. Let me just set the record straight here. I'm going to do a lot of talking here. I apologize. Put me on 2.5 times speed to get through this if you need to. But
they're probably just happy I'm not talking over you.
Well, I recruited Justin to help with youth ministry.
Oh yeah,
that went sideways real fast.
I can only imagine.
That is not his gifting, is youth ministry for sure. We'll just put it that way. But
and they keep on asking me to help.
Yeah. You drove the bus all day long, man. That's great. Tell them to call me for a reference. Yeah, we'll get you out of that. But I roped in Chris to help with a popcorn contest. So we had a couple of people in our youth group that they thought the really good popcorn. And so we did a thing one summer where we had a whole big point system and all the games and everything else. So I asked Chris if he would come over and do blind taste tests and judge the popcorn. And I remember there were the top 3 choices. And I was telling this story again. You correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I believe the one that Chris picked as the number 1 popcorn, I know it was a white chocolate drizzle over the popcorn. But I don't even think it scored in the top 3 overall.
No, it didn't.
And Chris voted it number 1. So right away, I was like, this guy's got some major character judgment going on here.
His bad character popcorn judgments. Yeah,
BJ was rethinking our friendship at that point.
Well, I missed the unanimous number 1 vote because Chris, my friend, the guy I recruited to to bring in all the votes didn't even vote for my popcorn. Oh my gosh. So,
And I have
yeah.
never lived it down. And
So,
I've had white cheddar popcorn at BJ's house, I don't know how many times, just to make sure that I do like it the best.
and I'll just, for the record, Chris, I had asked Chris to be on the podcast, and we were talking this weekend, texting, and he sends me a picture and he says snack time, and it's a bowl of popcorn with the white cheddar salt next to it. So I was like, okay, yeah. So that's why we had to make some today as well. So I got some here as well. But yeah, it's we've got a lot of stories we could share. But Chris, tell us a little bit about maybe tell us about your version of how our families got together.
Oh man. Like you said, it was like a instantaneous friendship, which is weird for me because that doesn't happen for me normally. But there was a connection between me and you, even at the interview. Just listening to you speak, I could hear your heart. I could hear who you were just from how you answered questions, the statements that you made, and I thought this guy is the real deal. And then, of course, at that birthday supper, we talked and got to know each other a lot better. But from then on, it was just like um, you were somebody that I knew I could tell deep, dark, nasty things about myself, and it would go nowhere, and there was no judgment. That was the key.
Yeah.
Never judged. Always, if you didn't have an encouraging word or something to speak back into my life and to me at the time, there was always a hug, which sometimes is louder than words. But yeah, that was the beginning of it. And the weird thing was when you guys decided to come, we still didn't, know each other fully, and you guys show up and move in, and I don't know whether it was you, or I don't know who decided to just hand over all of your children to my wife, and she drove away with them. I thought, now that
Wow.
dude trusts us somehow. I don't know how, and I don't know why, but that's brave.
Well, when there's only one way, or there's two ways in and out of that town, I think that makes it easy. So
That's a good point. But it is it is Pike County.
Yeah, yeah, true. No, it is true. It was instantaneous. The trust, like you said, when Anita took the kids, we were having Elliot was young. He had some asthmatic issues, and it was like we had no clue what you guys had been through with your own kids, and but at the time I know Alicia was just kind of like, oh, who did we just send our kids off with? And at the same time, it was like we trust you. Like there was just such a good feeling about that interview and that time, and it was definitely where we were supposed to be for sure.
Well, and I can tell related to me and Chris have only had a couple interactions through our times, but I met Chris and his family in Colorado Springs when BJ graduated. Yep. It was just because they were BJ and Alicia's friends. I mean, it was just like instant. I remember we made spaghetti for everybody, and one of your kids had a special, whatever they needed, right? Like, I remember, at the grocery store, like, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just gonna buy what we can. So I remember that being like, I wanted to do that. I mean, that's just like, it wasn't like, well, don't worry, we'll figure it out. You were family, if you're BJ's family, you're our family. So
we felt it.
Oh, well,
and there's been multiple times. I mean, you mentioned that one. I don't know why you guys show up for me the way you do, but I appreciate it. But I remember both of you guys showing up when my sister passed, and same thing. I mean, it's just like these worlds, when you travel and you do as much as we've done in our family, and you move from place to place and all the things, your worlds don't usually collide.
Yeah.
and yet the way our friendships have collided in these last few years has been pretty incredible. So I just want to say thank you to both of you. I was talking to another friend of mine that was asking him to come on the podcast, and he goes, "What am I going to bring?" And I said, "Relationship." That's what this is about. And so it's the fact that we can get on a show like this and have this platform to just share stories and reminisce, but talk about those things and just come together. It's very easy to do because of our friendship with one
Well, I was
another.
gonna say, yeah, even not seeing Chris for that amount of time, and then seeing him again at your wedding weekend, it was just like, oh, okay, cool. It's just right back at it, and it's the banter back and forth, having fun, and so that's always special. So,
well, we gotta ask him some key questions here because we gotta bring in another level to this. So
yeah.
Okay.
Chris, tell us about a little bit about your family. Tell us about your family.
Well, I am married to my beautiful wife, Anita, and she is away right now. This is why she couldn't be on the podcast. That's the official reason.
The official reason.
She
Okay.
is doing her job. She's the youth and family ministries coordinator at our church, Summit Church here in Estes. And
say that anyway, title again.
Man, I'm going to get it wrong now. Youth and family ministries coordinator.
Okay.
Or director. Sorry,
director. Okay. Well, let me just stop for a minute and just say, because you're talking about ministry, I won't use an expletive here, but that is bull honky, Anita. That's bull honky.
Oh, geez.
That's the Hebrew word for bull honky. Look it up. She's the youth and children's pastor at Summit Church.
I was going to say, you could just shorten it to Pastor Anita.
Yeah.
Well, she won't answer to it, but you can shorten it to that.
She's Pastor Anita in my phone. That's what she is. So, yep.
Do you know, let's just take a little side route here, if you don't mind. She has been encouraged to the point where it irritated her by our pastor now, our new pastor. He's been 2 years now. His name's Tim. And the board, all of them have tried to push her into getting ordained so that she could be Pastor Anita. Mm-hmm. She won't do it.
Yeah.
She says, I'm not called to be a pastor.
Oh, baloney. Yeah. But no, that's good. Keep going. Anita, your wife, and then tell us about your kids.
So Anita and I have been married 28 years. Well, be 28 years this year in December. Our oldest is Cadence. She is 21. She'll be 22 in September. And our youngest, Creed, who is probably the reason you had to go shopping for special things. Creed is 18. He'll be 19 next month. Actually, July 6th, not even a month.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks.
Yeah. Katie, she's going to be a senior at the University of North Florida next year. Her semester, because of this program she's in, it starts in the middle of July. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's going to be leaving us here in a few weeks to head back to Florida, which just means we got to go to Florida and visit.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So she'll finish up her senior year this coming year. And Creed, he finished his I guess it's his first year at University of Wyoming, which actually he had enough credits going in that it was actually his junior year. So in business management, but he recently moved out. He moved out in March. He's 18, and he decided he wanted to get away from us so bad. Really, the reason was he got a job down in Niwot, Colorado, which is about an hour drive from here. And he was making that drive 3 or 4 days a week. Decided that was too much travel. So he against our advice, he rented an apartment. And it was advice. It wasn't, hey, I was just trying to give him the numbers of the deal. I mean, I'm an accountant. That's what I do.
It's your job.
Yeah. So I laid it all out. I had it all. I mean, there was no denying the reality that it's way cheaper for mom and dad to pay for everything here than for him to pay for everything there.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to do his own thing, so he is. And he's doing great. He's actually working for a church, the Rocky Mountain Christian Church. They're non-denominational. They've got 2 campuses, and they brought him on as a 3rd member of their production team. So he runs audio, visual, and lighting, video and lighting. There we go, for that church. So, and he loves it, doing great. Katie, her major is American Sign Language Interpreting. So we don't know where she's going to end up. She's not sure either. But we expect that she's going to be a blessing to whoever decides to pick her up,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's amazing. I mean, you watch people sign on TV during news and everything, and it really, it brings it home when you can know what they're saying. So she'll sign something at me, and I said, "What did you just say?" I mean, come on.
I only know one thing in sign language, and it's usually not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we learned a lot
Yeah, probably.
just by asking questions. How do you say this?
Yeah. That's really cool. Has she been getting involved with doing some interpretation? I know this was 3 years ago when she was still starting out, but does she do some ministry with that as well?
She did. She had to, or she decided to change churches. But when she first got there, she was a church. It's called the Church of 1122 in Jacksonville, Florida, and good people, huge church, mega church, and they had an ASL team that would sign the entire service, worship service, and sermon. And she got involved with that. With the leader of that was Miss Pat, was her name. I have no idea what the rest of her name is. It's just Miss Pat. And really, that was so cool. I've got so many videos of her, and proud papa moments all over the place. So so she did that for, was it a year and a half, maybe 2 years, until Miss Pat had to retire, and they didn't replace her. And it was about that time that Katie decided that she wanted to try a smaller church. So she actually found one, or was directed to one by my brother-in-law Keith, Anita's brother, and because one of his buddies pastors a church that's like 30 minutes from where Katie lives.
Oh, nice.
His name's Dusty. I don't know his last name, but he's there, and so she went there, really enjoyed it, took one of her roommates, and they faithfully attend there. So
good.
very
Nice.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I can attest to Chris's proud papa moments, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but I think the time frame of that happening has passed us. But I remember being out there for golf the last time I was out there to golf, and you had to show me this video because she sent you this video where she was just starting, she was just learning, and she'd been to church, and the emotion behind sign language is unreal. It really is. And when you get into a church service and you get an interpreter that is in it, they're worshiping as they serve in those ways. And Katie, I remember in the video she said, she was saying to you, and you showed me, so if she's listening, sorry Katie if I'm breaking a pact here, but it was so cool because it just brought tears to your eyes, and as you shared this with me. But she said in that video, she goes, "Dad, the emotion of these words and these lyrics, I just had to go learn how to sign this." And she was out on some trail in some wilderness area, and she was signing this song for you. And I remember you and I, as you showed it to me, we were both just sitting there crying as Katie's emotions come through as she's signing that song. And I'll never forget that. That was really cool. So good for her.
Yeah, that one, obviously I still have that video, and anytime I watch it, as you can probably hear in my voice, it's hard to keep the emotions back, because the words of the song are amazing. It's Gratitude by Brandon Lake. And it was
my daughter's favorite song.
It will forever be my favorite now. I mean, it was already on top 10 list, but it'll forever be one of my favorite. But to watch her do that, and it was just impromptu, and she was in, it looked like a wilderness place. It was called the Bamboo Garden, and it's right there on campus, UNF, and which is a state school. So she's standing out there where anybody can walk by, and just ministering to bamboo reeds and me.
Wow.
And it wasn't the whole song, but it was a portion that just it means a ton to me. Sorry, I don't want to ramble, but
No, that's great.
No.
yeah, I show that to anybody who will watch it. And anybody that asks me, what's your favorite song? Easy now. Before I couldn't tell them. That's easy now. It's gratitude.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, Justin and I do this a lot. We'll sit here and we'll get caught up talking about our kids, and you just get so proud. It's amazing coming out of Father's Day, and we haven't talked about your dad, Chris, yet, but your dad is an amazing man, and I'm so thankful for Bill and his life and legacy. But you start talking about your kids, and it's like, man, we mess up more times than we succeed, it feels like, but yet somehow our kids are making it, and we get those moments. We had one just last night that Heidi reminded me of that. I'm getting 2.0 version now, and there's pretty special times for sure. So that's awesome. I'm so proud of Katie and Creed and what they're doing as well. That's cool. So good job, Dad. Good job.
Thanks. I don't know how much of it is, accorded to me, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Since Anita's not here.
Since he can't, he can't say anything else. Take it all.
That's
well,
right.
I wanted to give you a chance. This is about sharing stories, sharing what's going on. Tell me, Chris, like something before we get into like what you do and the boring accounting stuff that you do. But tell us a story that comes to mind when you think about our time together.
Oh my gosh. Easily our cruise adventures. Oh my goodness. The very, very first cruise I ever went on was with you guys, you and Alicia and Drew and Jill. And we went to Cozumel, right? That was the first one.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think, was that where you got the braids?
The dreads, yeah, the braids, yeah.
That was amazing.
I remember that photo.
Uh-huh.
Where's that photo
awesome.
at?
Yeah, I still have that one, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we went on that cruise, and BJ and Anita swam with the dolphins.
Yep.
And so that was, and then just trying to see how much we could eat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember every dinner because Kristen and Anita had never been on a cruise, and the cruise we just told them that everything's included as far as that's concerned. You can buy a drink package or go to a fancy restaurant, but when we go to dinner, you can have whatever you want as much as you want. Now, Chris, those people that need to know about Chris is one of those guys that he'll get into these fit crazes, and he'll lose a bunch of weight and go running and doing all these things and Ironmans or marathons or whatever he's doing. But then he had just come off of a time like that, and he was looking good and feeling good. And he gets on this boat, and there was one night I remember vividly. The three of us guys were sitting on one side of the table, our wives were on the other side of the table, and you lean over to me and you say, "Can I have seconds of the steak?" I said, "You can have thirds and fourths and whatever you want."
man, that was the first night. If you remember, that was the first night.
Yeah.
And you said, "Dude, you can have this and that." Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Because then I got desserts, multiple desserts, right? The melting chocolate cake with the ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
I don't think he ordered one entree the rest of the week we were on that boat. He ordered two dinners every night.
Always two. And on that one, because I think at that time they were serving dishes according to where we were and some of the different things. And I always got something from that menu and a steak.
Yeah.
Something from that menu and a steak. And it came with all the sides.
Oh, geez.
And I ate all the sides, too.
All the potatoes you could have.
I gained like 10 pounds in 5 days. It was amazing.
Yeah. So you guys just went on a cruise, yeah? Where did you guys go this time?
We went to, and I just lost it. Oh my gosh. Mine went blank. See, I
That's
was
all
afraid
right.
of this.
That's all right. Yeah. No, you guys went out of Florida, didn't you?
Mexico. Yeah,
Mexico?
Cabo San Lucas. Cabo San Lucas.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah, and
Good.
we on the way back we hit Ensenada, but we went to Cabo for 2 days.
Nice.
The boat stayed there 2 days. That was cool. I think I got stung by a jellyfish, although I couldn't find it. That was cool. It was
You
just me and
think you
Cree.
got you think
Yeah,
you got,
it
or
hurt. It
someone just
hurt
told,
like
or
fire.
someone just told you that because they peed on you.
I had like about a dozen or more dots,
Oh,
all in
gotcha.
different places on one arm, and it all hit at once. And I was like, "What was that?" Turning around in the water trying to find it. I couldn't see anything. Creed was
You
me
just
and
did
Creed went
that
off
so
that
that
day.
Creed could pee on you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told him he was going to have to pee on me. He said, "If I have to, I will." I mean, how many chances do you get to pee on your dad?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to take advantage of those. Yeah.
But I mean, it swelled up a little bit and then it went away. So, but
That's cool.
yeah, it was on that. That was the second day we were in. Creed and I were the only ones that got off the ship because the first day, and not to ramble on here, but we got off and what we wanted to do, Anita and I had already looked it up. We wanted to go to these remote or more remote beaches. You had to take a boat to them. So we took a tender to get it to shore. Then we'd hire a boat, happened to be glass bottom, and we go to this beach. And the beach it was sitting on like a peninsula. So one side was out on the Atlantic, no, Pacific, sorry. Had to figure out where I was at. So out on the Pacific. And the other side was in the cove or in the calm waters in the little Gulf, supposedly calm. Well, so on the calm side, they called it Lover's Beach, and the other side was Divorce Beach. And for obvious reason, I mean, that's if you're tired of your spouse, you just take them over there because I almost lost mine over there. A wave got her, and I mean, just took her legs out. It was hilarious. I mean, not that she almost got swept away, but she started laughing. She couldn't even get up. She was laughing so hard. But then on the lover side, it wasn't calm. I mean, the waves were like 3 feet high, hitting you in the chest, and you couldn't. I mean, you had to take these boats, little fishing boats, in just tiny little things. So we get in there, and the company we went with, they said, "How much time do you want to stay?" We told them about an hour. We'll come back and get you. Okay. So we paid them. They took us there, dropped us off. We went, played in the water, hung out, laughed, went back to the beach to get picked up at about 50 minutes in. No boat, no boat. Make a very long story short, um, uh, my grouchy old man face was permanent because we'd been there about 2.5 hours
Oh.
running on
Oh,
three, and
jeez.
people had been picked up by other boats all day long.
Oh gosh.
And the thing that I haven't told you is there's this group of about 8 or 10 guys that are just laying out on the beach, and they got coolers full of drinks and food and everything. And of course, they're trying to sell it to you, and they watch you come in, so they know what company that you came in with. And until you paid them, they wouldn't call the company to come back and get you.
Oh no.
Oh,
And
dang.
so we're trying to figure this out. I told Anita, I said, if I'd have bought 3 or 4 beers and some of their questionable seafood, we'd have gotten off of here a lot sooner.
Wow.
She says, "You mean they want money?" I said, "Absolutely, they want money." So this one guy comes over. He says, "What company are you waiting for?" And we told him. He already knew. We told him. He says, "I give them a call. They're my friends." Yeah, they're your friends. I'm shocked. So he called and he said, "Yeah, they'll be here in 10 minutes." It wasn't 10 minutes, and he says, "They'll be in 10 minutes." Pulled his hat off and held it out to us for money.
Oh, jeez.
Anita said, "What? You want money?" He goes, "Well, I called them for you, and I'll help you get in the boat." She goes, "Fine." She gave him like $3, and the guy that was standing beside him held his head out. She goes, or hat out. She says, "What'd you do? I'm not paying you." He goes, I'll help you in the boat." She goes, "Fine." Gave him $1. He goes, "Huh." Walked away. So they finally
Wow.
did come pick us up. it was a nightmare getting in the boat. I went out. I mean, I was leaving on a boat or swimming, one of the two. And anyway, we finally
Wow.
got off of that little beach. And when we came back in, I'll tell one little story about myself, BJ. You won't be surprised. You know me long enough. Um, we come flying into the marina and right to the dock. He just turned the engine off. He didn't slow down. Bam! We hit the dock, and this kid he couldn't have weighed more than about 40 pounds, throws the rope around, ties it out, holds his hand out to help the old man, me, out of the boat. I looked at him and I said, dude, if I grab your hand, you're going in the water. You can't pull me out of here. And he just looked at me like he was shocked. And of course, he was wanting money too, but I wasn't very kind all the way back to the ship until I got back into Carnival's warm embrace.
Yeah.
And the steak.
You could go have two dinners.
And the steak. And the steak. The steak was waiting for you.
That's right. And I did have steak every night.
That's awesome.
I think it was
That's
every night.
crazy.
Whenever they'd let me. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Was this the first cruise that this was not the first cruise your kids have been on, has it?
No, this is the second one.
Okay.
We took them to Grand Turk and the Bahamas in December, not this past December, the one before.
Okay.
And it was not a great experience for them. It was rough seas for 2 or 3 of those days, and Anita and Katie get seasick, motion sick.
Yeah, that's tough.
Creed and I had a ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's tough.
it was one of those that the boat was rocking side to side. So when you go down the corridor, you have to walk uphill. You just zigzag and walk uphill.
Wow.
Which was cool. Yeah.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
couldn't keep water in the pools.
Wow. I've been lucky. I haven't been on anything like that when it's been bad. I've always been on a good time. So that's awesome. Yeah. That's good. That's good news. I've got one cruise story with Chris and Anita I've got to share because I've got to throw her under the bus since she wouldn't come under on the podcast. But
she's working.
She's working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she's working.
that's her.
For the children.
It's for the children. It's because God told me to. Yeah. Well, we're going on this cruise and we're going to the show after dinner one night. And the 6 of us are walking down there, and Anita is a youth and family ministry coordinator, director. Okay, she hangs out with kids. She hangs out with teens. She is not boring. She loves to have fun.
Has patience.
She does, but she also loves to have fun. And we're walking out of dinner. We're going to this show, and it's kind of a variety show that you can participate in. And Anita tells me, she says because Alicia and I had been on a cruise before, the rest of them hadn't. And so they're like, tell us what to expect here. And so we're like, this is one that we can get on stage. We can get in the show. And Anita's like, I want to get on the show. I want to get in the show. And she goes, have you ever done it? I said, yeah, I've done it. I've been on the show. I've been on stage. I can get us on stage. She goes, you can get us on stage? I said, yeah, I can get us on stage. I said, when we go in here, sit next to me and do whatever I tell you to do. And she's all gung-ho about it. She's ready to go. And they start doing the screening to get people on the stage. And they're doing this trivia. And you have to get the host's attention so he'll come pick you so that you can give the answer and get on stage. So it's not just about getting the answer right. You got to get his attention. So the 6 of us are sitting back in this back row of this auditorium, and he starts going through it. And I said, okay, here we go, Anita, are you ready? So he asked the first question, and I stand up on the seat and I start screaming like a little girl, like just hollering and waving my arms. And she starts rolling, laughing. And she's like, then she moves clear to the other end of the row. She doesn't even sit next to me because she's so embarrassed by it. I got picked.
Yeah.
And I just said, you just left me high and dry. I don't know if we can be friends anymore. I can't believe you did this to me. And she just could not. she just chickened out. She's a
Shut
wolf.
down.
She
did.
chickened out.
Shut down.
And I thought,
Scared
man,
her.
I thought you wanted to have fun. And she goes, she just wasn't in the cards for her. And I was so embarrassed by her actions that night. It was.
I love
It's-
how
it's-
she's not
it's a
here to
sad
defend
story.
herself. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
sad story.
Sad story.
Very
really is.
sad story for sure. So
I told her what you told me before we went on this last cruise is that you owed it, or she owed it to you to get on stage.
yes, she did.
We had an opportunity, BJ. The
Oh,
last night we had an opportunity. The kids were all behind it. They were behind us. We got to get on. We got to get on. You can do it, Mom and Dad. You can do it. And it was the love and marriage. Anita said, "There is no way that we're going to try this. I've seen this before." And she's looking right at Cadence because Cadence gets embarrassed about everything. Katie, you do not want us up there answering questions. And she was right. So later, Katie says, if you had gotten on there, would you even be able to answer those questions? I said, yeah, I'd answer them. You wouldn't like it, but I'd answer them.
well, I did tell you because you sent me a text, a picture of you guys boarding the ship, and I did. That was the first thing I said is Anita owes me. She needs to get on a show, and I need proof of it. So, yep. But she still owes me, so I'm gonna make her come on this podcast at one point, and we're gonna set the record straight for sure. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's good. Well, another thing we all have in common is we like to play golf, and Chris has been very generous to me and allowed me to come out and play golf with him a few times, and we've got some pretty good stories about that as well. So, Chris, what is one of those stories? I have a story about one of our golf trips that didn't involve golf. I got one that does involve golf, but do you remember when we were sitting out? So in Estes Park, there's elk that roam. There's all kinds of wildlife that roam. I think Estes Park is where nature and humanity intersect, and it's there in Estes Park. And the elk just do whatever they want and are everywhere. But the tourists are stupid. They come in there and they're just dumb. And so we went to eat dinner at the golf course restaurant one night, and we're driving back through the course area back to your house, and there's a herd of elk. And there was probably 3 or 4 buck and probably 30 doe just out there on the fairways. And there's people pull over and they're trying to get pictures and get as close as they can to these beasts of animal. And so we pull over and the kids wanted to see them. And so we're out there, but we're standing back because Chris and Anita are with us. And they're like, you don't want to get close. These people can die from these elk. And I remember vividly standing by the car with you, Chris, and this tourist, not part of our group, they got a camera and they're literally like running up to this elk. And Chris is like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. We're like captioning this whole moment, watching this guy that's about to get just destroyed by this elk.
Yep.
Thankfully, nothing happened, but oh man, that's scary.
Chris, how long have you guys lived in Estes?
We moved out here in August of 2014, so it'll be 11 years here pretty quick, which is hard to believe.
All right.
Wow.
Well, it was a venture of it was definitely a step of faith at that point.
Yeah. Well, our other connection is that me and my wife actually honeymooned in Estes Park.
No way.
Yeah. So 2000, and I'm gonna tell a dumb tourist story.
Okay.
So we got married in 2001. So Estes is not what it looks like now than what we saw it. Because I just went to go look up our bed and breakfast we stayed at. It was called the Anniversary Inn. It's up there on Mary's Lake Road, which I think is now like all developed with like campers and all this stuff. It wasn't like that before.
It's just right over there.
It's just right over there. So we thought, it was super nice, and we're like, oh yeah, it's not that far of a walk to downtown Estes.
From
Yeah,
Mary's Lake Road?
yeah. Me and my wife walked all the way to downtown Estes.
Hey, man, you got your steps in.
We did. We were way younger then. That's like a third. That's like a just shy of 2 mile walk that
At
we.
least, yeah.
Yeah. So dumb. This is before like Uber, and we parked our car, and it was like it was July, so it was perfect weather. Like who.
Yeah.
And so we're just like, yeah, we'll just walk down there. We got sunburnt because you're literally right there next to the sun because you're up
It's
there.
intense.
Yeah. So, but we're like, oh yeah, we'll just. It doesn't seem like that far, and oh jeez, never doing that again. But
Where'd you go eat? Do you remember?
I don't remember where we ate. I remember we hung out in downtown Estes. The biggest thing is like my wife wanted to go shopping, and
Yep.
we're Husker fans, so there's a Husker store called Big Red of the Rockies.
Big Red of the Rockies.
That's in the town. So we just kind of went up and down the downtown area, and I don't know if they do it anymore, but there used to be like a fair, a county fair, that would kind of plop themselves down in the lower part. I think it was down by the golf course. By the Estes 9-hole course.
Yep.
I think that's where they used to have that. And I don't even, like I said, this is so long ago. We're going on 20 plus years, but yeah, that was us being stupid, walking all the way. And I see that anniversary inn's not even around anymore. So
I don't know of it.
Yeah, no, it says it permanently closed. I don't know when. Maybe we were the last people that stayed in it. I don't know.
Might have been.
But yeah, I'm looking at the map again. I'm like, we walked what? Hang on a second.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to figure out from Mary's Lake Road which direction you went to
we went
make it only
down
2 miles.
Yeah, so like we went. I mean, the anniversary inn. So right now, I think there's like a market, like on that corner.
Okay.
Big is it? I remember there being a T intersection back in the day. There was like a gas station there, and then
that's the way I know what way you went then. Yep.
Yeah, so we walked right down that street, then just kind of just hung out, and then yeah, it was bad news bears. There was nothing back in the day. There was no barbecue places on the way there. Nothing.
No, it's a lot different. Even in the 10, 11 years we've been here, it's changed a lot. Just in population. When we first moved out here, the year-round population, I think they said somewhere around 5,000 was the year-round population. Now it's around 7 or 8,000. And of course, in the summer, we get millions of people that come through this place. And it really, really tests your
patience, your faith.
You got to really bite your tongue.
Anita will become a pastor because of it. Yeah, she's like, I will do this. I'm just joking.
And I was just talking to my nephew. He's out here for the summer interning with us. And I was telling him, I said, hey, man, I said, we are so glad to have these tourists come out here because they spend money and they help keep our real estate taxes low. And it helps, it just helps the economy. I said, but man, I am so ready for them to leave when it's time. And I said, but I also have to remember every time I'm yelling at one of them with my windows all the way up so they can't hear me, that I used to be one of them.
Yeah.
And I am still one of them. Every time I go vacation somewhere, I'm one of those idiot tourists that doesn't know how to drive, doesn't know how to get anywhere. So,
well, Estes Park is one of the best places to go and be a tourist at, I believe, and not just because of the scenery, but obviously because there's some great people there too. So,
yeah,
we can get to Estes.
I'll have to find my way there to go play golf.
You guys got to come out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got guest room. Shoot, we're empty nest now. Shoot.
Yeah.
Don't tell me twice. I know
you got a place to stay, man.
I know a short little puddle jumper I can take a flight on and get over there.
There you go. But you're talking about golf and having BJ come out. You came out 2 or 3 times, didn't you?
Yeah.
And there's a tournament that we invited BJ to come and play in because Especially I'm terrible, and BJ's really good. Besides, he's my very,
No,
very good friend, and we have another very good friend, Kirk, and he's a crazy good
he's really
golfer.
good. He's really good. He's like a
He,
4, Justin.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
and he's been playing since he was like 8, and but he and BJ would carry me and my dad through this tournament. But part of the deal was it was a golf weekend, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And our intention was to play as many holes of golf as we could. And I'm
Oh
sure
man.
you've probably heard about it, Justin. I
Oh,
forget
yeah.
how many
I've heard.
holes was it 3 digits? Did we play over 100 holes?
I
Well, no, we didn't.
I
And
think in 96.
99.
96.
90, yeah.
99.
99,
No,
okay.
because Creed was mad at us that year because he's like, you couldn't just go play one more hole and get 100. But
Mhm.
we played. So like the first year, the trip wasn't as long,
Right.
and so I think we played. I think I was gone a total of 72 hours.
That's where the number 72 came in.
From
Yeah.
door to
Mhm.
door. So from my door in Illinois to your door in Estes, I was gone 72 hours that first year, and I think we played like 68 holes of golf in that
Yeah.
time frame.
It was quick.
It was fast and it was quick. The second year, I remember going. That was the year I got hurt.
Yep.
But I think we played 99 holes
99. That's right.
in 3 days or 4 days or something like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then the third year, the family came out with me, and we didn't play as much golf, but we had fun doing
It was
other
a good
stuff as
time.
well. So, yeah.
Well, it was and was it after that you got into building golf clubs?
So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
yeah. So,
golf club stories.
yeah. Before that, I dabbled in. And I told somebody I built golf clubs, and they said, "You really build golf clubs?" I said, "No, I just put them together like Legos, you know." And so,
Glue your fingers together.
yeah. So, I started making, because I was like, if I could just have my own custom set. I'm short and stubby, and I could make my own clubs, and so I made my first set of golf clubs, and I made them standard length or whatever, but. Chris was just starting to get out there and get going, and I said, "Here, why don't you take these clubs and see if they help you?" They were kind of a beginner set that I put together, and tell me the story. What happened with that set of clubs, Chris?
Well, I took that set out and played at the 18-hole golf course one evening, and I think I was playing with Kirk, I believe, Kirk and Dave, and we just played a few holes one afternoon. And we'd play like 1 through 8 or 1 through 9 before it got dark, and we'd just go home. Well, I told him, I said, I'm trying these clubs out. You know, my buddy BJ made me a custom set. Oh, really? So they were checking them out, and hey, let's see how they work. So everything was doing just fine until I got into the fairway of number 6. And the number 6 fairway on that course, I think that's the longest hole. It's a par 5. And it used, believe it or not, I don't know if you knew this, BJ. It used to be a landing strip for small airplanes.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
Nice.
Anyway,
No,
that's
I
what
didn't
I've
know
been
that.
told. I was out in the fairway. I pulled out my 5-iron, and I thought I'm going to make some really, really good contact here, and these guys are going to be impressed. So I lined up my shot. I was probably 200, somewhere around that out. And I wasn't going to hit the green probably, but I was going to make it look good. I got in my backswing and I came through as hard as I possibly could swing. I hit that ball and took the divot after the ball. It was beautiful, except that as soon as I hit the ball, it didn't go very far. But something else did. It was the head of that club. That club went forever down the fairway. It probably went 60 yards just off momentum. And I pulled that club up. I looked at the shaft, and that's all there was the shaft. I was like, holy crap, did you guys see where that thing went? And they're like, was that the head of the club? Well, it must have been, because it ain't here.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we went and picked it up. It just snapped right off. That was
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was early clubs. My buddy, BJ made his was just a hosel issue on this one, but my buddy did that when I went golfing. His first time using BJ's clubs. It snapped right off, and I was like, oh, great. I'm gonna have to live this one. I'm like, no, his clubs haven't broke since. So
Well,
he,
that's the difference. So Chris did that with his buddies, and his buddies ended up giving him their old set, and they bought a
yeah,
new set. Your buddy, I did make that right, and I fixed his club and sent him a new club and got him straightened out. But yeah,
no, and I have
Well,
a set that BJ custom made for me,
yeah.
and I still use them to this day, and I hit him really well. So it is he
Well,
learned his lesson.
yeah,
while we're talking about golf, just a quick story. This will tell you how bad a golfer I am, Justin.
Oh, jeez.
The very first time, or maybe it's the second time, uh, that we played in that same tournament, it was either before I started inviting you, BJ, or after. I can't remember. But anyway, we played. It was at the country club, and we played. I brought out my clubs, and both Kirk and the other guy that was playing with us at the time was Jason. His name is Jason. They looked at my clubs, and they didn't know what to say, so they didn't say anything. They just shook their head, and we ended up there was an A and a B flight in that tournament, and we won the B flight. Not because of me, obviously, but because of them. And we won every one of us got a $50 gift certificate that we could use in the clubhouse. Everybody gave me their gift certificate. So I went and bought a club out of there. I bought my putter, and then they made fun of me about my putter because it's a white hot.
yeah, white
I
hot.
didn't know what that meant. I just thought it looked cool. So that's one step. And then later on, Kirk, my good buddy and realtor, he gave me his driver because my driver was not up to par, pun intended. And then after a couple of seasons of me using that driver, he looked at it one time and he said, "That's just ugly," because I just beat the crap out of it, hitting the ground with it and stuff. So then he has now given me another one. We just go play in the afternoons, and when he's done with it, when he gets a new driver, he'll just hand me his old one on the first tee.
Hey, that might be the way to go. Keep that going.
Well, and the rest of the clubs are my buddy Dave's. It was an old set of his. He said, "You got to have better clubs, man."
Are you still hitting those pings?
Yeah.
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 So this is on those pings. Like the last time I was out there, I had just gotten my new set. I hit Callaways, and I had these Callaways, which were more of a forgiving club than the ping. He's got ping eyes,
Okay.
and so it's
Yeah.
like the
Whatever
middle
that
ground.
means.
Yeah, it's the middle ground club. I mean, it's not a beginner club, it's not a pro club, but it's that middle ground. And so the last round we played, I said, let's switch irons. Let me hit your
Yeah.
pings, you hit my Callaways. And Chris played the best round of his life
That's right.
with those irons. And I said, you're going to have to get you some of these forgiving clubs. And it sounds like he still hasn't done it. So
Well, since Anita's not here, I'll blame her. She hasn't let me spend any money on golf clubs.
that's true. That's true. Good point. Good point. So,
Well, if she doesn't, yeah, I mean, we'll give you permission.
I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, we'll give you permission.
you know, it's crazy because we're over an hour already.
Sorry.
No.
No. You were worried about how you were gonna fit into this episode, Dude, like this is what this happens every time. Everybody's like, "Well, I don't know what I can bring."
Yeah.
This is the relationship things that BJ talks about,
Yep.
and the friendships that we show, and the stories that we can share. Yeah, this is what it's about.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. So, I want to be respectful of your time too, Chris. But this is just it. This, like Justin just said, this is when we get together. Time has no place. We usually go and go and go, and so I appreciate the time tonight, Chris. But tell us, Chris, is there anything in your world, in your life, in your mind, in your heart that you just got to get out and let the global audience that hasn't been 3 days know about?
Well, I could go lots of different directions. But I'll just do this. I'll go the sappy route. I am one of the most blessed men that I know. I live in a beautiful place that I do not deserve. I live in a beautiful house that I don't deserve. I have a family who loves me, who loves God, and yeah, I didn't do anything to deserve it, you know. And I get to do just amazing things, fun things. I mean, we went on, you and I, BJ, and our families, we went on a cruise to Cuba. Who would have ever thought? I would never have thought I'd ever go to Cuba.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been able to do so many cool things. I just I don't know. I don't know why why God has allowed that, allowed me to be so blessed and to have so much fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
not all been rosy, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, I'm in my 29th year of working with my dad, you know. Some people would think, how would you ever work more than 29 days with your dad? But that's not the relationship that we have. Dad and I, we've shared an office, believe it or not, for I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and that just ended because again, we just rearranged and did some construction on an office situation so we could have private places, but offices. So it's been a blessing. I get the advantage of having his wisdom spoken into my life anytime I ask, and that's the thing. He will give advice, but only if you ask.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's meddling. But it's been good. It's just I've led a charmed life. I just don't know what I did to
Yeah.
deserve it, but I
Well,
have one of the most boring jobs in the world, probably. I'm a CPA, so
I love that. Chris and I have bonded over his business for quite a while. They were our treasurer for the church in Pittsfield, and when I became the pastor, I said I will not fire you guys as long as I'm the pastor here. And as soon as I resigned, they fired him. So I apologize for that. But it was a good thing. It was a good thing. But
it was time. It was
yeah,
time.
now that I'm in the financial services world, I lean on Chris very heavily, and I'm thankful for that. But I can tell you why you live a blessed life, and you don't get mad at me, but I push back on you every time you talk about this, that you don't deserve it, you don't deserve it, you don't deserve it, and you're right. None of us deserve anything that we get. But I'm going to preach at you for a minute. I mean, we don't deserve it, but we serve a good God, and he is a good God who is a giver of good gifts, who wants to bless his children. And that's
Yep.
what he's done for you and your family, and that's amazing. So that's good. And he's speaking of his dad. His dad hits the golf ball from the wrong side of the
Yep.
golf ball, and
It was
so
probably
Wrong-handed.
close.
Wrong-handed.
it really
Yeah,
is.
no wonder you got no
mistake.
hand-me-downs, huh?
Yeah. Yep. But Bill's an incredible man, very wise, very, very kind-hearted, compassionate man, and I'm so thankful for Bill Schatz, and thankful for your late mom, Linda, and just the
Yep.
life and the legacy that they've lived. I have a picture from one of our golf trips that I'll never forget. Linda was battling her illness towards the end of her life, but she loved to go to the golf course with Bill and Chris and just enjoy nature and see the deer and see the birds and the geese. And one of the things Linda would do is she would never whisper when somebody was about to hit a shot, or if Chris or Bill hit a bad shot, she would tell them. She would, why didn't it go straight? Why didn't it go on the green? But there was one time, I'll tell this and then we can close up shop. But we're in two carts. I'm riding with Chris, Bill's riding with Linda in the cart in front of us, and we're driving out down the fairway. And at this point in Linda's life, she was very frail, and Bill just had his arm around her in the golf cart. And I took a picture of that, and I just was like, this is love. I want this. And I'm so thankful for Bill's example, Bill and Linda's example. I know life was tough in those last few years, and for you as well, Chris. I know what you went through as their son. But man, it is a pleasure to be friends with you, and it is a pleasure to know you. I am a better man because I know you, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you so much. Make sure you give your dad a hug for me as well, and let him know I love him and thinking of him. And tell your wife she owes me like 7 now.
She owes you a podcast episode.
She owes me if she comes on the
Yeah.
podcast, we'll wipe
We'll
the
clear
slate
it.
clean.
Yeah.
Okay, she can come on and we'll wipe the slate clean. But
Sounds good. Well, I can tell you that about my dad, just one thing, and he tells me every time if we talk when we're talking about you, or if I've talked to you, and he says, "Let BJ know I love him." So
yeah, I love him too. I'm thankful for him. He's the one man that I don't know if I haven't talked to him in a while, but he always called me pastor. Always called me pastor.
he still does. He still does.
I just respect that man more than he'll ever know. But yeah. Thank you, Chris, for joining us.
Yes,
thank you
thanks,
for
Chris.
being with us.
Thanks.
Justin, thanks for letting us kind of take over tonight and
Hey,
be here.
I tried to I love these stories. I love our friendship over the years. Like I said, you can bring anybody in your life, right? And then those become our people.
Yep.
It's just like your wife, right? You bring her in. We meet her one time, and we're just like, "Yep, she's
Yep.
sorry, BJ, she's ours now." So, but no, it's the same way with Chris. Like Chris, literally, and we've only been cross paths a few times, and I jokingly say, we need to get on the golf course together. Like I really think that's the bond of the golf course, and I'm only a few hours away, so I might just have to take a weekend.
There you go.
I might have to find a guys weekend. But anyways, so yeah, I loved hearing these stories. Even as hosting a podcast, right? I love to hear the other side of that as well. So appreciate that.
Well, yeah, it's been good. It's been good to get back at it. For those of you listening and joining us, thank you for that. We've ended the show a little bit differently in these last few episodes, and as Chris led us into it, it's very true. I'm thankful for friendship, thankful for these relationships and these bonds that go beyond what we go through here on earth. So I'm thankful for that. So thank you for listening. Thanks for joining us. Keep looking up, keep trusting in Him. He is the author and perfecter of our faith. So thanks for joining us. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.